We are in a technologically dependent world, and here is the program that bridges the gap between you and technology. Thank you for joining us on Techies Club here on OSLC TV. My name is Samuel Akinsroju. I'm your regular host on this program. On this program today, we have a guest, a brand communication strategist. He'll be talking to us about digital literacy. He is Tolu Olugbemiro. Tolu, it feels good to have you join us on the program.
Thank you.
All right. I already mentioned to our viewer that you were talking to us about digital literacy. What do we call digital literacy?
So digital literacy is basically the concept of being aware of the digital economy. In time past, you describe literacy or you describe illiterate as someone that can read and write. But for now or presently and in times to come, you define illiterate as someone who is aware of the existence of technology and is able to engage with that technology. So digital literacy is just the concept of being aware of the digital economy, and not just being aware, being able to interact or engage with the technology in the digital economy.
So when one is aware about digital economy and all that has to do with digital economy, that person is digital literate. Is that what you're saying?
If you are aware that of the existence of the digital economy and you are able to properly engage it, an example would be a child today. It's easy for a person to become digitally literate today. If you're born into, let's say, even if you're born into a low-income family, in that sense, if your parents are able to afford any digital device as small as a mobile phone that is not even yet connected to the internet, that's some sort of digital technology that you can basically engage. And we see that today it's possible for children and people in general to at the least pick up a phone and make a phone call. Some people can get to save numbers on those phones and so many other things that they can do with such a small device in their hands. So those set of people are digitally literate. Now, in terms of so now the what would now I think the complex situation would now be the fact that there are levels to digital literacy. Yes, I am able to operate a TV. I can put on a TV. That's an extent of digital literacy. But now, being able to operate a digital device is another level of digital literacy, and the hierarchy goes on and on and on. So, but the base level is being aware of the existence of digital technology and being able to engage it, as simple as being able to make use of the POS or the ATM machine. You are digitally literate.
I think digital competence is exactly what digital literacy is all about.
Yeah.
Are there more to the importance of being digital literate?
There's a whole lot that one gets to benefit from being digitally literate. A basic example, it's rather difficult for anybody to secure a job if he does not have some certain level of digital literacy. Now, in the past, I remember going through my dad's CV when I was younger, and you'd find things like or job description for employment. And you find things that you should know how to use a typewriter, or you should know how to type. Typing was a skill then that was like a base level of digital literacy that you should have to secure a job in any parastatal. But now there's no job requirement or there's no job description or job requirement rather that would require you to know how to type. It's an assumption that in this age you should already know how to use a computer. You should know how to type. You should be proficient in at least MS Office. So it's already a base level, or it's in that sense we are already given a baseline that we should not fall under if we are going to secure a job in this age. So it's important that every person, to an extent, is digitally literate or exhibits a certain level of competence when it comes to engaging with technology in their environment.
All right, you've said so much to us, and most importantly, you made reference to the fact that time you access your dad's CV, and you discover that knowing how to type, making use of the typewriter is one thing that is very important. And this age is an assumption that you just have to know how to make use of the computer and many more. Um, what then is the problem of digital literacy in Nigeria?
There's a whole lot, but from the little experience I have working um, across the tech industry, one of our major challenges in terms of digital literacy is, I could say, is okay now. Okay, let me back up a bit. In Nigeria, we have a it's an assumption, but I believe we have a larger percentage of people who are digitally literate because at the least we have people who can engage mobile devices. They have a phone. They can make phone calls. They can save numbers on those phones. They have a basic knowledge about technology, right? At the least, the person, a trader at the market knows how to use the POS machine or the POS device to either withdraw money or make deposits. At least they know how to engage an ATM machine. It's just an assumption. So, to a large extent, we are digitally literate. Now, but for more advanced level of digital technology, like operating um, a laptop or more advanced digital devices, maybe like a smartphone, for an example, there's every tendency that you would not be able to engage something that you are not exposed to or something that you do not have basic access to. So poverty is an issue. It's a challenge, right? Um, I I remember when I first got my um, when I first got a smartphone. It took me a very long time. I think I was okay. It's like a tradition. If you are leaving senior secondary school into the university, somehow somehow you'll have to struggle and ensure that you have at least a basic smartphone, right? But we find out that even right now we have people in low income societies who have found a way around that, whereby you could find a child still in his primary school having access to um, a smartphone, even if it's a second hand phone or some if it's a used phone already, they have access to it. But all the same, it's just a few. It's a few out of the numerous persons that exist. So one of the major challenges for us in Nigeria is the fact that um, we don't make a lot of money commensurate to how demanding our economic situation is. We don't make a lot of money, so digital devices are not a priority for especially in low income households. So an average Nigerian family might be able to afford a smartphone or basic digital devices, but a low income family would not see that as a priority.
A low income family will not have access to the use of digital tools, the computer, the phone, and all that. How do we solve this problem?
Growing up, there was cyber cafe. Growing up, there was cyber cafe, and I could. I remember then from primary school, we would leave the class or after school is done, we go into a nearby cyber cafe. Yes, we went to play games and all of that stuff, but that was a way we were able to engage with computers, even though we couldn't afford it at home. So for as little as 15 naira, 100 naira, then, or even, yes, 15 naira, for as little as 15 naira, then we were able to walk into a cyber cafe and and in quotes, engage with technology and engage with a lap, a PC, like a desktop in that sense, sorry. And we're able to engage with those. And as as insignificant as that might have seemed, but that exposed us to a world that, in a way, being less privileged, shut us out from. So, what we can do as a state, as a nation in general, might possibly be to um, build more facilities like that, whereby people from low income families would have access to technology at an affordable price. So maybe for as little as maybe 200 naira, like 500 naira, I should be able to walk into a cyber cafe and um, and engage with a computer, maybe to learn how to type, or maybe to even learn how to open an email address, or maybe to learn how to open a social media account. Yes, the government has tried in the aspect of setting up initiatives whereby people can get to be trained, and we also see private bodies such as the institution that we are currently seated in. Private bodies who get to set up training facilities for people to learn. I know an example would be where we're currently seated in. They've at some point in time hosted events whereby people, children, get to be trained in certain technology skills. They get to be exposed to technology in that sense, and they have other initiatives at different levels that get to engage people at different in different age grades and help them, basically just help them open their minds up to technology. Yes, so the government can partner with such institutions that are available that do this, right, to increase the access for people from low income families, or to the access in general to Nigerians and citizens of the state and country at large.
Thank you. The other time you talked about an absorption, that there is this absorption that once you are a graduate, you should know how to make use of a computer or anything digital. Now, I would like to ask, what's the role of digital literacy in a workplace?
So the role of digital literacy in a workplace. Um, I've been working in tech for the last 5 years, and before that, I've had siblings and people that I look up to who worked across different industries in Nigeria. Now, it's just like I mentioned before, like I went through my dad's resume and I saw some job requirements online from his time, right? And the basic necessity to get a job or to be qualified for a job is to be able to operate a typewriter, or to be able to even type maybe on a piece on a desktop computer in an office, right? But now you'd really find that as a basic
Criteria.
requirement, because it is assumed that if you have gone through the primary education, the secondary education, and the tertiary education, you should have been exposed to technology to a large extent, right? And being exposed to technology to a large extent means that you are aware of technology and you are able to engage it at a basic level of being able to operate a digital device. I don't think the there are little to there are little to I would say there are fewer opportunities in general across several industries that one can engage without having an expertise, or without being technologically sound in that sense. There are little opportunities that exist as such, right? Even being able to, okay, I'll give a very simple example. Earlier this morning, my friend went out to go and fill gas. Now if you go to a gas station or anywhere they are filling gas, you would find that there's an automated weight machine whereby there's an automated weight machine that when you put your gas on it, it reads the digital machine that reads the weight of the gas. So and so you know that where your measurement is starting from, and when you get to fill the gas, you get another measurement without having to engage pen and paper. It's as simple as that. Now there are some versions of those machines that are analog, but we find out that those versions are quickly going out of use. We have the ones that are operated with a button and have like a digital display system. Now, if you are not if you are not in quotes technologically sound or digitally literate, you would not be able to engage a device like that. You will not be able to set the weight system, and you will not be able to set the weight system. And this is a basic job. Let me use that word. This is a basic job that doesn't require so much expertise. It doesn't require you to have a technology degree or a college degree to be able to do that kind of job. But you find out that to an extent it requires you to be exposed to technology. Now, so if we in quote neglect technology and say that it is not relevant, that okay, I should be able to get this job or get that job without being exposed to technology. It will be shortchanging the possibilities of it will be shortchanging the possibilities of the things that you can do as an individual. And like I said earlier, it's very rare for you to get a job opportunity now, and in the coming years it will become even much difficult in the coming years to get a job if you are not technologically sound.
All right, aside the sample you gave with regards to taking your cylinder to the gas station and getting it filled up using the automated weigh machine, are there other um, instances you would like to uh, tell us about the use of digital machines?
To think about it, right? If you go to a mall, if you go to if you go to the mall, okay, if you can even go to the mall, okay, let me bring it down, let me make it even more basic, let me bring it even more even more basic. Let me use an everyday example. You want to buy fuel or kerosene at the gas station. um, there is a device that reads um, the if there's a pump, right, whereby you see it is displayed, oh, you want to buy 1 liter, they're punching 1 liter, and they are able to give you fuel or kerosene. And that's if you don't want to buy at the roadside, right? that's that's technology. At the gas station, you're engaging with technology. For shops that are a little bit advanced, they have an inventory system, whereby each item that you go to purchase is logged in their inventory system, and it's as simple as a supermarket that is by the roadside. They have an inventory system. Now, you might not be aware that they have an inventory system, maybe because you are not that technologically exposed. But when you walk into a place, I know there's a shop at Southgate and a few other shops at Southgate that have an inventory system. That when you walk into the place, they have all of their goods properly detailed and logged into an inventory system. Now, sometimes it is not visible to the public because it's not as though it's on the front desk. Maybe they have an inner room where that is kept, but for a few, it's something that you can see when you walk into the shop. Now, these are basic. These are this is what we call basic jobs or menial jobs, but it requires an individual to have a level of technology to be exposed to a certain extent to 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 be exposed to a certain extent to technology. So I'll just leave it at that.
From all you said to us, digital literacy appears to be a global necessity. How do we embrace it here in Indo State?
I mentioned earlier, the government, even private bodies, can set up more initiatives whereby we get to train um, individuals across all levels on basic um, basic skills um, that they would require to engage the digital economy. Yes, there are households who do not have a there are households who do not see. But it's not that not even as though they don't see that the priority is that because of how much money flows into the household, having a digital or a smartphone or any other digital device does not appear as a priority. It is not a priority because before we go through feeding, clothing, and housing and paying for other basic needs, the money is gone, right? But if we have more initiatives set up by the government in collaboration with private institutions that get to teach or train people, individuals across all age levels on these set skills, right? It makes it more easier for people in the future. Let's say if a child, because I became exposed um, to the computer when I was in primary school. I was opportunity to go to a missionary school where all of these facilities had been equipped, and we went to the computer lab twice a week to go and learn how to type on Mavis Beacon. Right. Although we thought we were playing game because Mavis Beacon has this game, it appears as though you are playing a game, but you are learning how to type. So when we left school and went out, there was a cyber cafe we could walk into, and for as little as 100 naira or 15 naira, we could continue playing game in quotes, learning how to type using Mavis Beacon. So it was a basic software that was installed in all desktop computers you would find at a cyber cafe. Then it helped us, helped me in particular, learn how to type very quickly, learn how to engage a laptop very quickly. While my siblings were going for computer training and all of that, because of the facilities that were available, um, my parents didn't see a need to send me to for computer training because most of the skills that they sent my siblings to go and get via computer training, I already had it because I was exposed to a computing system very early on because it was available in my school, and it was there was cyber cafes I could walk into even as a small child, right? So if we have facilities like that implemented, if we have a public library that is equipped with desktop computer or with computing systems that is that a an average Nigerian citizen can walk into and make use of those facilities, it makes it all the more all the more better. I was at some point in my life I was privileged to have access to a public library. This was when I was living in Port Harcourt. There was a public library where I could walk into as a child, and there were books, and there was also a section that had computing systems, and which was under due supervision by the librarian. So I could go in there, having my library card. I could go in there as a student, as an average citizen. I had access to get a library card. All I needed was my parents' consent to access those facilities. This is my child. He will be coming to use the library, and this is his library card. This is my signature on his library card, and then the librarian gets to sign on that card, and I have it as a proof, as an evidence that I come here to use their facilities. So if we have more facilities like that incorporated into the public schooling system, it means that from an early age, children will be exposed to technology. If it is, the children will be exposed to technology, and it's what we learn at an early age that we eventually carry on across the many years that we would live, right? And y- also, I think finally, in collaboration with private institutions, the government can set up training programs. They can also sponsor individuals to training programs also that might be at maybe at an advanced level and would require money to get into. So all of these things and many more that I believe that the government, when they sit together, when they sit together, they can get to develop more ideas and more initiatives that would get to help people, the citizens in general, to be exposed to this. I think at some point when there was an event where Babajide Akerelolu came around, he mentioned how that the government had begun laying fiber optic cables across the state to sort of lay a foundation, an infrastructural foundation that private organizations can build on. I think that's in itself is an initiative that the government has set in place to ensure that to ensure that the state comes alive in a technological way, and many other initiatives that he mentioned on that day that the government had are set to have already started rolling out and are set to also roll out in the coming years.
Thank you, Tolu. You did well talking to us about digital literacy. We may have to call on you again.
Thank you so much.
That was Tolu Bimiro. He has shared with us a lot on digital literacy. We do hope you've been able to learn one or two things from what he shared with us. Join us again, same time, same station. My name is Samuel Akin. So goodbye.